It's official, we're getting a strap match at Bash in Berlin. I'm excited for this. I didn't think WWE was going to pull the trigger so quickly on giving us the strap match. Like, I thought they would wait until Bad Blood or something, but it's going to get interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Assemble. My name is Matt. Let's give you the full Raw recap here, or at least some of the highlights from the show. Randy Orton, Ludwig Kaiser, Gunther, the whole thing, and bookend the show. I thought it was great. I really want to see Randy win the belt, but I don't think it's going to happen. But this segment was very good to open the show, very strong. I love Randy Orton just coming out and just talking to the crowd, and Gunther comes in, talks a little bit of trash. This just feels like a nice, it's just a big match. They made it more personal. They've had such a short amount of time to get this to where I wanted it to be, and I think they've done a very good job. I'm excited for this championship match. I do not think Randy Orton is winning. One of my predictions is that Orton gets taken out, like severely injured in this match, and he gets a bloody mess because that's what Gunther said he's going to do to him. Gunther destroys Randy Orton at the end, takes him off TV. Randy comes back as a heel, RKO to Cody. Randy wins belt. Now I will say, watching Raw last night, this thing, I enjoy Raw so much more than SmackDown, man. Just like it's got me hooked back in again of like I want to see what the heck's gonna happen every single week on Raw. SmackDown I feel like is a highlight Twitter show. It's Cody and Bloodline, Roman. Well, that's all fun, but Raw is doing way better things. Because like if you watch the Sheamus Pete Dunne match, that thing was, as they say, a banger. I loved this match. This was hard hitting. They had built this for several weeks, and I loved how this thing turned out. And I did love the finish. I don't know, some people thought it was corny or whatever. Pete Dunne takes Sheamus's busted up hand, puts it through the turnbuckle pad, and at the end, Sheamus rips it off and nails him with a bro kick, and it was over. I was shocked. I was surprised that that was the finish, that it came out of nowhere basically, and he got the win. And this is the type of stuff I think you need every single week on Raw, where you just have these hard-hitting banger matches that are built on TV every single week. They got some heat behind them. Sheamus is getting right back into the thick of it in terms of what his character was doing a year ago before he took time off, where he was just going out there on SmackDown and just having really good, solid matches. They're doing that once again with him, but now you're elevating Pete Dunne, which is what you need to do. You need to get him front and center a lot more and have these awesome matches. You almost need like a TV championship. I don't need more. I know we don't need more belts on TV, but it needs just something. Like a guy like Sheamus and Pete Dunne need to fight over something. Now, it was announced that we are going to get, speaking of title belts, we are going to get a tournament for the Intercontinental Championship. Who's going to be the number one contender to take on Braun Breaker Steiner? Yeah. So I'm excited that we're going to get a tournament. I think it's a good fitting time period, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they've discussed when this is going to happen. I know the tournament's going to start on Raw, but is it going to culminate with a match with Braun Breaker at Bad Blood, or is it just going to be on a Raw main event? I'm not sure. But one of the interesting things, and we saw this coming out of one of the segments, was going to be the Wyatts. The Wyatts and Chad Gable, American made. They've also got Ivy Nile in there too, which I think is a good touch because to keep her with the Creed brothers. I like all of that. They're continuing the story of the Wyatt Six and Chad Gable and American made. So their feud is going to continue, and it's going to continue on with the first ever match, debut match of Uncle Howdy, Bo Dallas, going up against Chad Gable to move on in the US title tournament. Uncle Howdy with the belt. I don't see it happening. I think it would be funny if they did give Howdy a belt and just have him walk around as belt collector and he just goes do as he walks through as Bo Dallas. He also had a different, more interesting look on Raw for Bo Dallas and the Uncle Howdy mask. Like, he's just coming out more jacked and he just got the mask alone. I like how they're playing with the characters. They have said that, like, hey, that's Nikki Cross. They're mixing it up, and I do love that they are unmasking and they are real people and they're not just fictitious characters in the world of Uncle Howdy and the Wyatts. I like that they are melting it with the reality of WWE. Like, Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, is going to go after a title belt. How are they going to get there? Not sure. How this ends, this one-on-one match for like to move on in the tournament. Does Uncle Howdy really need a championship? Does he even care? Or is he just trying to mess with Chad Gable? That's where I don't know if Howdy moves on in the tournament. Because if Howdy moves on, Howdy should just win everything. But then he can't lose to Braun Breaker. So I feel like it's going to be Chad Gable somehow beats Uncle Howdy, maybe a DQ or something. Because Howdy just doesn't care. He just likes chaos and he's messing with Chad Gable. It'll be interesting. But they're actually going to have him in a match. So should this be at a pay-per-view though? What do you guys think? They've built them up right now as the Wyatt Six as being like this force of chaos and destruction and everything on Raw, and it's like a TV program they're working towards, but they're not building them or Uncle Howdy to a pay-per-view level where he's gonna have a one-on-one match with Chad at the next PLE. Do you think that should have been at a PLE? or do you like that they're going to go into the tournament? Speaking of the tournament, we also found out Jey Uso is going to be in the US title tournament. I think that's a good spot for him. And you know what? Braun Breaker versus Jey Uso for the title, I think it'd be really cool. The problem with Jey Uso is that he's main event Jey Uso and he keeps losing. So I don't know if he's going to move on to the tournament or something's going to sidetrack him. Because when we saw later on, people were chanting for Jey Uso to interfere in the Judgment Day situation and that whole thing, and they were wanting Jey to come out and save Rhea because of Yeet. And one of the big moments for Monday Night Raw was going to be the confirmation, as we said at the beginning, of the strap match. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. Didn't love this segment. I gotta be honest. Like, Punk coming out with the strap, I was like, okay, we are doing strap match. I thought this could have been saved for Bad Blood, but at the same time, you know what? I'm glad that they're gonna go ahead with the match. As you know, a strap match, they gotta hit all 4 posts. It's gonna be a bloody mess. It should be a bloody mess if they are going to do this properly, but you want to have blood everywhere. Give me that JBL style. Like, wasn't it JBL and Eddie Guerrero that was just ugly? Let's go to that level. Let's make it really super bloody and evil. The good thing with the strap match is that it's going to protect Punk because he doesn't have to do a lot of actual bumps. It's just going to hurt. And I think that's the point here, is they're going to have it hurt. Punk, in my eyes, needs to go over in this, and they can continue with the whole story. It's all about the bracelet and what that symbolizes and what that means. I thought that part of the segment with Punk did deliver, where he was talking about how they went to Fanatics and he got all these bracelets and what it means, symbolizes, and the importance of it. He's talked about other friends he has. Like, he's really kind of brought this down to be very personal with Drew, as it is for the last year. And Drew coming out, he's got the bracelet again. It's okay, but I think it was just the way it kind of buttoned up at the end of the promo. I don't think Punk did a very good job delivering that or kind of hitting it home. I think he almost needed somebody to get hit with the strap. Like, I know they teased it, but it would have been better if Drew was like, screw it, and just ran in the ring and grabbed the strap and just started whooping him. But again, we got a couple of weeks till Bash, so there's probably going to be a moment in there where Drew's going to get back at Punk for all the lashes, and Drew will stand tall. Now, another moment, another highlight for Raw, and again, I thought Raw overall was it's just solid. Like, it's just solid. There's intriguing stories week to week. And SmackDown, they got tagged. I don't know what they're doing over there, but I just found that, like, you have like the New Day, you have Xavier Woods, and you have Kofi Kingston dressed up as Ninja Turtles, which I thought was really funny and hilarious, and Odyssey Jones mixed in there. And they're addressing the fact that Woods isn't comfortable with it. Kofi addressing it with Woods, saying he hasn't been acting himself. He feels like Odyssey Jones is trying to replace Big E. Kofi doesn't feel that way. It's a really good TV program they're doing. The tag team match and the moment of the tag where they captured it, the right camera angle too, where they were going for the hot tag and they tagged in Odyssey Jones and not Xavier Woods. You got that whole reaction of Xavier Woods and how it affected him. So I like where they're going with this. It's just gonna be, does Xavier Woods go for a full-blown heel turn, or do they turn Odyssey Jones? Or is it just gonna be just kind of going on for several months? It'll be interesting to see. So one of the big highlights for Raw was going to be Judgment Day. Outside of the main event match of Ludwig Kaiser and Randy Orton and the breakdown and the beatdown there at the very end, I think that the big highlight was going to be what's going to happen with Judgment Day this week. And I think they're doing a good job. I thought the backstage moment and promo with Liv talking to the camera and Dom standing behind her, I think that really came across very well. And I like the fact that Dom is like trying to stand up now for himself, and he's like, hey, let's go one-on-one and no interference and all of that, just you and me. I like that. I like that Dom is trying to act tough, because it's almost like Liv is allowing him to be himself versus Rhea was always pushing him down and submissive to her. And I think it's a good touch and it's a good direction for his character. Then you got the match itself, or what was going to be the match, and you got the full schmoz breakdown. Judgment Day comes out. I don't like, though, that Damian Priest and Rhea basically destroy the rest of Judgment Day very easily. Like, they have no chance. Damian Priest just booted and clotheslined everybody, and he threw away everyone. Like, it was no problem, including he was trying to get his hands on Finn Balor. It was all too easy. I think they need to be struggling a little bit more. But you did have the moments where then Liv came out, started taking down Rhea Ripley. It was good, and then the Judgment Day, obviously, they ganged up and they took down the Terror Twins, and they were left standing tall. If they're gonna give Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley the win over at Bash in Berlin, you gotta get like all the Judgment Day looking strong week after week. I do think that at Bash, like early prediction, I think that new Judgment Day needs to win, because you're going to keep this thing going for several more months. And we said how it would be great if Randy Orton could win the world title. And Randy Orton finished off with the main event match against Ludwig Kaiser, and it was really, really solid. And I do feel that over time, Randy Orton is going to need to turn heel, like I said, and probably go up against Cody, because I think that's the money feud. But if you guys want to talk more about who should turn heel, who should get a little tweak in their character, click this video right here, because we are going to talk about a lot of superstars kind of need a fresh coat of paint. Have a great day. See ya.